Welcome to Conversations from St. Norbert College, a program that encourages good discussion in our community on today's local and global issues. Now, your host for Conversations from St. Norbert College, author, professor, and nationally known sports economist, Dr. Kevin Quinn.
Welcome to Conversations from St. Norbert College. I'm Kevin Quinn. Our special guest is Dr. Alex Godoy, who comes to us through the St. Norbert College, University of Wisconsin-Green Bay Visiting Scholars Program. We will discuss Dr. Godoy's area of expertise, which is sustainable technologies with the ability to deliver simple and practical solutions to current and future environmental problems like water scarcity and food, waste management, energy, and environmental pollution. Dr. Godoy is currently working as an analyst at the Universidad Nacional Andrés Bello, Santiago. He is in northeast Wisconsin to learn about experiences regarding relationships between government, business leaders, nonprofit organizations, academic institutions, and citizens that ended in the build-up and developing of the Sustainable Greater Green Bay Initiative. Dr. Godoy, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin.
And welcome to northeastern Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Let's start off by asking you a little bit about your background. So you're from Chile.
Yes.
Right? And tell our viewers a little bit about Chile who may not know a whole lot about it.
Okay, Chile is located in the South America. Mm-hmm. It's a long country. To the east, the border is with Argentina. And in the west, the limit is with the Ocean Pacific. In the north, you have Peru, and the northeast, Bolivia, the south, Antarctica. It's a long. We have a long coastal trip, 4,000 miles approx, and the wide of North Country is similar trip to Green Bay to Waukesha.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yes, it's so small. When you, for example, you can stay in the morning in the mountains, and in 3-4 hours you can take your tea into beach on your car. But it's beautiful because it's a long country. You have a big diversity of the environments. In the north, you have deserts, such as Atacama Desert. Mm-hmm. In the small north, because in the north you have two big parts. The big north, when you can find the Tropic of the Cancer, mm-hmm. the Atacama Desert, mm-hmm. the mining industry. Okay, but you have the small north, when you can find the valley, the Elqui Valley, that in the Elqui Valley produce today grapes, wines, and the pisco. Mm. Yeah. In the middle, you have Santiago, Valparaíso, and Viña del Mar. Santiago is our capital,
mm-hmm.
Capital
Big
of Chile,
city.
Santiago, and in the beach, you can find Viña del Mar and Valparaíso, the main cities on the coast. And the south, you have Concepcion, for example. Mm-hmm. And in the south, Patagonia. Then you have a high diversity in environments and in the cities. It's very beautiful.
It's I think most Americans can probably find Chile on a map mm-hmm. because it's so unique. It's long and thin.
Yes.
But we've been hearing a lot about mm-hmm. Chile in the last little while here in the U.S. There was an earthquake mm-hmm. that was awful. Actually, 2 earthquakes.
Yes.
And of course, the story of the miners, the Chilean
yes.
Miners, that got a lot of television attention
yes.
here. I can't imagine what that must have been like at home. That must have been something.
Yes. First about earthquake. Okay. After I can talk about the mining rescue. The earthquake was terrible, but not was terrible for the magnitude of the earthquake. Mm-hmm. Was terrible because 24 hours after earthquake, the people feel fear. Then all people was the supermarket, for example, and take all products because feel that, okay, tomorrow I don't know if I could eat, okay. Nor government on television asks to the people, please take it easy, okay, don't go to the supermarket, don't feel fear because Chile need take easy and need our government need know how is our country. But the people feel fear and go round to the supermarket and take all products. Then in 48 years post earthquake, you can find nothing in the supermarket.
Wow.
Then some people, when the North government say, okay, the highways are good, there are no problem, and today the food can go to the Concepcion or Santiago, the people start sell this product, but at higher prices.
Ah, right. As an economist, I can understand
yes,
that.
Yes, a black market.
Right.
Okay, black market. But was not terrible because nor buildings nor houses have a strong construction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't have problems with, for example, IT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nor construction is tested to the seismic situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that is different. But I think that was terrible because the people felt fear, and the social reaction was so interesting.
Well, one of the things that I have found interesting about the Japanese earthquake is, despite all the destruction, there's been less of that for some reason, and I'm kind of surprised by that. Mm-hmm. But the pictures that you've seen of either the Chilean quake or the Japanese quake, just unimaginable.
Yes.
Just unimaginable.
Yes, but the earthquake was not terrible. In the similar situation, the similar earthquake in the Japan,
mm-hmm.
I think that the earthquake is not terrible because you have 1, 2, 3 minutes
mm-hmm.
of the quake, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the tsunami was terrible. Yes, and we have I think that 50 death for
mm-hmm.
the earthquake, but 400 death.
Wow.
Due to the tsunami. In Japan was similar. The tsunami was terrible. The tsunami caused a huge death in both countries.
See, here in the Midwest, we just have to deal with snow for 6 months of the year, and somehow we don't, at least as far as I know, we don't have earthquake problems or tsunami problems here in Wisconsin. If a tsunami hit Wisconsin, something really bad happened. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about what it was like to be in Chile during the miners situation.
The mining situation was very interesting because when I read your newspaper or the newspaper around the world, all people was talking about, whoa, was a miracle. I think that no was a miracle.
Really?
Yes. It's not a miracle. And it was not a miracle because Chile is a mining country.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best technology on the mining activities, and you have a good know-how. Chile today have the know-how to do a big hole in the land, okay? Indeed, if the first plans don't working for the mining rescue, the second plan was build other mine. Okay,
Right next to it.
And next to it. There's a big project. Then it was not a miracle. The miracle was because the both big coalition, the right side, no government, Piñera, and the left side, working together in the mining rescue. And this mining rescue put in the newspaper on social reality the difference between the workers in the big mining companies and small mining companies. Because the San Jose mine is a small mining company and have too many troubles, social problems, environmental problems, and economic problems. Today, this mine is in bankruptcy. Okay? Then when you compare both workers between big mining companies and small mining companies, the social security is different. Well, our country, the people and senators, politicians, academics, all support this rescue because it's not a big social problem today. The inequality, the social inequality between the workers in the big mining activities and the small mining activities. A miracle. If Chile put one person in the space, this is a miracle.
Well, I thought the miracle. I thought the miracle was the guy who had the wife and the girlfriend waiting for him actually decided to come out of the mine.
Yeah.
That was the thing that surprised me. Well, let's talk a little bit about the environment since we're talking about mining. And you study environmental challenges,
Yes.
and you study the way that innovation can help with that. What do you think are the greatest environmental challenges that face not only Chile but the whole world? What do we need to be working on?
Yes, and well, today I will talking about here in Norbert College about the difference between the Anglo-American culture and North Hispano-American culture. To me, the environmental challenge to Latin American Caribbean is, for example, when you say environment, okay, what is the image in your mind?
What is in my mind? Well, I think of outside.
Yes,
right. Mostly.
This is a big problem because when you think, in my people, it's the same. The people think in the outside, okay, mountains, beach, and you're thinking in the lake, in the Michigan lake, okay. But this is a problem because the environment begins in your home with you. The environment is not the outside. Begin from you to the outside because include cultural issues, socio-cultural issues, economic issues. And the people always are thinking in, okay, the environment is the outside, the animals and trees, but no, because the man is other species inside a big picture. Then the people need to understand when your action create an impact directly in the environment because you live in the environment. When you say is the outside, the man stay out of the environment. And always when you talk about the environmental impacts, you say, okay, this problem is the government. It's not mine. No, this is problem of pollution is the companies, not mine. But you need that the people change the behavior and promote the recycling. Or, for example, share the cars, carpooling. Okay? If you continue understand the environment, how to stay in the outside, you never with you know you never your behavior. You need that behavior change in the time, but this change is necessary that you consider that you're living inside the environment, in the cities, in your home, in your town.
And that's difficult because it's much easier for us to say, well, somebody else needs to needs to fix that. As an economist, I tend to believe that people will act in a way that is easiest for them to do whatever they want to do, whatever's least expensive for them to do what they want to do. And I'm not surprised when that happens. I'm never surprised when a cat kills a bird. I'm never surprised when I don't get mad at the cat. I get mad at the owner who's supposed to keep the cat inside. And I think it's the same thing for the environment. For me, the role of government is to create incentives to encourage people to behave in one way versus another way. So you studied the role of government in the environment. What are some of the things that government can do to help people change their behavior?
Yeah. Good question. Because Chile have a briefly environmental history and brief nor environmental law is have 15 years ago. We have 15 years now. But yes, no, today the focus is we have the first Minister of the Environment was created these years. And you have three big parts in this minister. Okay. One, superintendency. 2, environmental court. 3, and special the environmental impact assessment services, and the service for biodiversity and protected areas. Okay, but these areas put focus on companies and they create the rules for companies and government. But you have one division about environmental education that are working together with the Minister of Education to create the policy of environmental education inside the schools and create the academic program and create the what matter that the more kids learn in the schools. But Chile don't have today specific rules to change the behavior of the people. For example, when you produce garbage, okay, what is your incentive to separate?
It's mostly psychological, because I don't want the guy who's coming to pick up my garbage to think that I don't care about the environment.
Yes.
And that's basically it.
Yes, because you are paid for some people pick up your garbage and put into the disposal landfill or landfill. No, okay, but if I pay for that, I don't need to separate. I think that you need to create an incentive to the promote recycling, for example. Okay, or for example, if you replace all light for efficient lights, efficient light bulbs. The question is, okay, if I can reduce my consume, okay, I think that the companies need give you an incentive to reduce your consume. But it's happening here? This.
Yes and no. For example, with the light bulbs, I think that almost everybody knows that the more efficient light bulbs, they might cost a little more, but in the end, they save you a lot of money. That, you have the lifetime of a fluorescent bulb is very long. You only have to change it once. It doesn't use much energy. But yet, for some reason, people know this, but yet they continue to use the incandescent bulbs, which, as an economist, is one of the most interesting things for me. Here is the incentive to do it, and the government doesn't even really need to get that heavily involved with it, and yet people are rather stubborn in their behavior, which I find kind of puzzling.
Yes.
Maybe that's just uniquely American, but I doubt it.
No, yes. For example, today in Chile is the custom to buy and replace your light for efficient bulbs. But okay, I have 10 lights, 10 light bulbs, and replace with the efficient bulbs. But okay, have high prices, but nothing give an incentive to reduce your consume. Okay, and when you reduce your consume, you have an average per year. Okay, okay. Before you have this average of the year consume, you replace all your lights. You have this average. Okay, but if you consume you have any problems, increase and pass to the upper level. Okay, you need pay overconsume.
So in other words,
this is so stupid.
A penalty.
A penalty.
Right.
You have a penalty, a specific penalty when you pass for overconsume because it's stupid. Because before you replace your bulb lights, you have this average, and now you have this one. Then if you say you have any problem, you pass your low average, you suffer penalty.
Right.
But you never pass to the previous average.
Right.
Then what is the incentive then?
That's exactly right. Well, in fact, I think some of the pricing models work. It's like your cell phone, that the more you use, the more energy you use, the lower per unit cost that you have. So there's actually a disincentive to replacing your light bulbs, which is a problem.
Yes, I think that the solution need come from the economy and to create new models to change the behavior of the population.
I agree with that, and that's an interesting challenge. You're watching Conversations from St. Norbert College. Joining us is Dr. Alex Godoy, and we're talking about sustainable technologies and light bulbs and all kinds of things. So let's talk a little bit about your own research. What's your background? I noticed you did like microbiology and all kinds of cool stuff.
It's no a typical career. No, I am biologist in my country and biologist in bioprocesses. It's like when a biologist can apply to the companies because I can translate the laboratory things to the companies. But after my undergraduate students, I decided to do postgraduate studies. But I think that was a good idea, change the area. I am today PhD in chemical engineering and bioprocess. But in my career, I have too many courses in economy and administration. Then my language, I think that I can translate when economists talk about some issue, for example, environmental issue and engineering and biologists. Today, you have too many problems when both people stay in the same table because the language between the economy Engineering and biology are different.
I agree with you. I did my PhD was in environmental economics. And the one thing that I noticed was that that field is very interdisciplinary.
Yes.
And that's challenging, I think, in an academic environment because, professors get rewarded, they get promoted, et cetera, by publishing papers in their field.
Yes.
And it's very difficult sometimes to publish papers that are interdisciplinary because they don't have a natural home. And the problem with that is then not a lot of research gets done. Now, I think that the next generation of academics like yourself are solving that problem. So you talk about economics, you talk about public policy, and you talk about, little bugs in the soil too, right?
Yes. I think that this is a big challenge. Okay, and today the too many faculty members are put the focus only and produce papers. And in this
That's the game.
Yes, it's the game. It's your income.
Yes, it is.
The final day.
Yes, it is.
But the question is, okay, I think that produce papers in your area and produce paper alone is so good for you. But what is the social impact of your papers? Then you need a create relationship between economy and biology. Among economy, biology, engineering. Because, for example, when you talk about the urban sustainability, okay, you need to know about the architecture, economy, about wastewater treatment plant, about psychology, about in my countries you see social work, sociology. And you don't can't to resolve alone a problem in the urban sustainability. If you study engineering, yes, you can resolve about one process in the company. But the process in the company, for example, if you are producing tables, you can improve the equipment and improve in efficiency, energy. But you cannot resolve how you do the link between the sustainable production and sustainable consumption. You need work together with the marketing, with the finance, and the human resources. Because never, your company, for example, in Chile or in any part, say, okay, my business is a green business or my company is sustainable. Okay. But when you visit these companies and ask to the people that work in there, it's not the better place to work. To me, when you talk about the sustainable company, always you need to think in economic, environmental, and social issues. And the social issues incorporate outside people, but inside your workers. Friedman say, well, you are economists, so Friedman said you need
there are all kinds of economists.
profit to the stakeholders. No, I think you need change the sentence of the Friedman.
I hope you've enjoyed our show. Until next time, I'm Kevin Quinn. Best wishes for good conversations from St. Norbert College.